How do you feeling ZETA match? I haven't watched back the game yet, the last game. I managed to watch from about here. And I'll be honest, like, I didn't, as soon as this round we lost, I knew we'd lost the game, to be honest with you. Like, I knew the game was lost once we lost this round. Our defense on split was not looking very good before. Our defense got some problems. Taku, a Japanese ZETA fan. Please, ZETA, go to Masters and Champions. I need your power. Okay. Let's focus on winning some more games first before we think about Masters and Champs. To ZETA have the potential to become a Masters and a Champion. It's gonna be very hard. It'll be very hard. I think we need to set expectations a little bit lower first and build towards that. You know, you can't. You know, ZETA look like they're playing pretty good macro, but is that your impact? Honestly, not really. There are suggestions I've given on some maps. Attack sides, I've said my piece about the general philosophy on attack with them, about how I'd want to see them playing attack sides. And I think they're doing that quite well. I don't know if that's got anything to do with me, really. Defense sides, I feel like there's some work to be done. I've given suggestions about certain things. I don't know how much of that's been implemented or not. What do you think is holding Japan back in Valorant? The tier 2 scene is very, very interesting because it's good and vibrant and there's lots of viewers. But it means that people would rather play in tier 2 than tier 1. So that's the biggest problem, I think, with Japanese Valorant. Is the reason why you don't help PaperX anymore a secret? No. The reason is pretty simple. There's two things. One thing is that I don't have as much time as other people to help with teams because I am not a full-time coach right now. I am a consultant. And the second thing is that it's a lot cheaper to not hire me. And so I think that the ways that teams should be hiring me is when they're desperate or need like a lot of help, you know, like they see a lot of value to get a lot of help. I think with PaperX, I kind of went in and I think that I did enough, if that makes sense, to make them. I don't think that all the impact was me at all or anything, but I do think that like I had done enough for it to be like, okay, like the team's in a good spot, you know, like, so like it would be just a waste of money to continue hiring me. Like at the end of the day, it's a business, right? So it's like, you don't want to just, I'm not going to be super cheap, you know? Like the reality of the situation right now is that I would be happy to work for like any team that allows me to continue to do the broadcast work and stream. And so my time is quite limited. And so whichever teams are down for that idea is like basically what I'm looking for. But then at the same time, it means that there's quite a few teams that could choose for my services, right? And I'm usually pretty good at my job, I'd say. So obviously that comes with a certain amount of money. I didn't expect to be working with ZETA at the start of the year. I thought that I would be a free agent until stage 1, because after kickoff there'll be some teams that do horribly and someone would like just call me up and be like, hey, can you try and fix us, you know, which has happened already. But I think that I'm exclusive with ZETA, so you know, I can't do this one. This job's very interesting though, working with ZETA, because it's like it's different. It's not the same as the other ones. With PaperX, it felt like I was an assistant coach, to be honest, you know? Like, with this, it doesn't... I'm not the assistant coach, if that makes sense. The time I spend with them is less than PaperX. Are you more like an analyst? No, I'm more like someone who advises both the management and the coaching staff. It's more like a overall thing, you know? It's like me, I'm trying to understand Japanese Valorant and also ZETA as a team from both like the management point of view and the coaching point of view. Whereas with PaperX, it was much more me just talking to Alex most of the time and then giving individual notes for players as well as notes for Alex. Whereas like with PaperX, it's more like they're asking me questions about coaching itself, you know, as well as strategy, and the management are obviously asking me things. I found it interesting. Longchip said that you could win tier 2 purely off coaching staff, aka prep playbooks, but the difference is when you need a team that learns to adapt. So aside that, I think I would agree with that. I think I've always said it that like I am always impressed when a coach can make a tier 2 team look like a tier 1 team or like progress to tier 1. I always rate coaches by whether they can improve the sum of their parts positively, consistently. But I think it's easier to do that at the lower level you go. Tier 2, I think, is pretty easy to do that. honestly. Like, if you're a competent coach. I think it's partly a strategic thing and probably mostly a strategic thing, but also a lot of tier 2 teams won't know what good leadership looks like, I think. Oh, like, how do you tell if someone has potential when they might have never had a decent environment to grow in? It's a very good question, and the only way I've ever really done it is I go to here. I sometimes put this up to about like 1650, and then maybe 90 days, and then I click this one here, and then I look at those ones, and I write them down, and then I click this one, and I write those ones down. And then we message them and trial them. That's usually how it goes. Usually you got to look for the flags as well, because the flags sometimes mean something. Like sometimes there's like issues or something, so you gotta check the flag as well. That's an important one. I unironically scattered hero like that, yeah. I unironically scattered, well, alpha, kind of like that. Dirk Colin brought to us, and I thought that he wrote the stats down wrong, and then I checked his stats. I was like, oh wait, never mind. He's also one of those people. I mean, there's more to it. I'm joking. Like, stats get you an interview, and a trial, and then there's obviously more after that. But like, the next part of the process is how much do you trust the fact that this player, in the limited amount of scrim time you have with them when you trial them, I think the issue with the process for a lot of teams is they treat that trial process as if it's the most important thing, and the vibe in the trial process and the performance of the trial in that process outweighs the other two things. And I think the thing that we did in Fnatic that was better than the other teams was, I think the trial process was less important than those other two things. I.e., I think stats were number one for me, then the interview, and then lastly, their trial. Whereas I think, honestly, for most teams, it's reversed. I think they put way too much value in a trial process. Alpha wasn't very good in his trials, but you can't tell me that someone who has like 270 ACS is not good at the game. So like, I trusted that more than his trial. His trial was still good, and he still popped off sometimes, but it wasn't like, you know, I just got IGOs then. That's an impossible task. That's way harder. Way harder. And I don't know the answer, because I've never had to scout an IGO before. I think I'm smart enough at the game to understand, like, I'd have a lot of deep conversations with that person, you know. The way I'd scout an IGO would be the same way I'd scout a coach to some degree. And a big part of that process is doing what I said earlier. How many times has this person made their team play above the sum of their parts? Do their results reflect more positively than negatively with the sum of their parts? Are they an IGO that went to tier 2 and did better than what you would expect? Did they then go to tier 1 and then, with the resources they had, do better than you might expect? Was the reasons they were losing look like the kind of reasons that it might be an IGO or coach reason, etc.? And then have very deep conversations with them for a very long time about how they see the game, you know. Get lucky with your first IGL. You mean purposely plant the seed with someone that you know is a very hardworking person who is also smart, that you could transform into a good IGL, or otherwise thinks that he wants to play Jet for some reason. I have a gold rank right now, but where should I pay attention to the professional game to raise the rank? You should not pay attention to the professional game at all. The way you raise your rank is by playing Valorant and shooting people. It is not by watching professional play. If you want to get a sense for how you can improve your gameplay, you should watch professional players play ranked itself, not play pro play. Pro play is way less efficient to watch than watching someone play ranked, because ranked is mostly about mechanics and how you're going to take angles and peek and movement and shooting your gun, and you don't learn that watching pro play. Well, you can, but it will be less efficient. You want to watch someone's point of view for the whole round and see how they're taking the angles, how they're shooting their gun, how they're moving, when they're deciding to use utility, when they're, you know, rotating, etc.